Hello everyone, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Sinchan and I am doing a video with Expressless. I'm also his wife and stuck in the UK. He's stuck in China, or not really stuck, he could come back, but he decides not to due to work and other issues. So this is just going to be a small chat on what's going on with our lives at the moment. Since he's in China, I'm in the UK. There's been lockdown here and all the little problems that we've been facing since he left last year in 2020 on March 20th, up until now. So let's begin. Yay!
Yes, thank you for the introduction, my guest, who's been patiently waiting to join me in China for about 10 months now, and has really tested the relationship, the marriage, but it's been good, it's been strong, and we've not really um, had too many difficulties, touch wood. But obviously, there's been lots of challenges, lots of different news and updates, and hurdles that we've had to go go through, particularly considering the way the UK is handling this virus, of all places, which is making life a lot more difficult. And in the new year, new lockdown was announced, so we're trying to figure a way out of that, in terms of getting her across to China. But and then China has its own rules as well. They will see what's happening in the UK and maybe block the borders, block the flights, whatever. And so it's been a uh, yo-yo type situation with trying to get Sin over here. So that's the
just,
contemplation I have. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
just an insight to everyone that's been watching. I don't know if you've seen one of our first videos with 14-day quarantine, where Expressless has been sitting in China quarantine for 14 days when he landed last year. Um,
The first time I've
Second.
heard you. The first time I've heard you call me expressless.
Oh, really? Okay, that's
Oh,
funny.
no, it's just
Okay.
gonna be my
Anyway,
name now. Okay, yeah, go on.
well, I'll stick to it. What happened last year, 2020, was in January, his flight was booked, and I got a bit afraid of everything that's happening in China and kind of persuaded him to not go. So that flight got cancelled. February, the same thing happened, persuaded him not to go because I was afraid of everything happening in China. It got cancelled. March, same thing. But this time I was like, ah, and then I didn't want him to go, but at the same time I did. And then the flight went ahead. I thought it would take a while, but it just happened. We even expected that he was going to come back 2 weeks later and everything was going to be fine. The ticket was booked like 2 days before, March 20th. Yeah, and so I actually didn't think he would go through, to be honest. I just thought that you would go to the airport and they would close off because our lockdown was like that weekend, the 21st, 22nd of March or something. And we didn't even say our goodbyes properly. We probably had one hug and thought, you know what, I don't want to make this too cheesy. And you're going to go to the airport, might get turned back, and I'm going to see you again, or you're going to come back in 2 weeks. So we kind of just kind of wavered off our goodbyes, and that was it. He left. He went to Finland, then went to Thailand, Bangkok,
Yeah.
and then flew over to China. And then that was that. I haven't heard from him since. Well, I have, but I haven't actually seen him since then. And he had told me a week after he arrived that, because of all the lockdown, he's not able to come back at the moment, or we don't know when he's going to come back. And there's been a lot of financial stress in between this because I left my job, and you know how it is during this time, a lot of unemployment, and loads of people had been on furlough, and it's been crazy in the UK, going back and forth with everything that's been going on with Boris's decisions, as you may know. So this is what we've been dealing with. Um, a small insight to what's been happening since March, because I remember when we went into lockdown, Expressless was out and about in a roof rave which he also mentioned that he didn't know about social distancing. So would you like to talk a little bit more about what was happening in March after you landed?
Yes, well, I mean, in March when I got here, pretty much as soon as I got to the quarantine hotel, I had a big view of the city and the roads, and I could see people every morning going to work, coming back from work in the evenings or afternoon, you know. So I assumed that everything was perfectly fine here, and there was no real lockdown, but there may have
Mm.
been some rules and things about temperature checks and wearing masks. Everyone was wearing masks for sure. But yeah,
But it was really strict, right?
well, I mean, in the 2 weeks, I don't know. I mean, I was just watching out from the window, but I mean, after I got out, yeah, I mean, there were at one point we were apartment hunting, and one of the security guards wouldn't let me in because at the time there was this whole debacle about foreigners um, spreading the virus, it's getting worse in the UK and things like that. So, but then literally over the period of a month after a lockdown, month or two, things started to ease up. People were still
Mm.
wearing masks, but you know, you didn't have as many temperature checks. You didn't have to um, uh, show your QR code everywhere you went. Whereas as soon as I got out, you did. You know, you really did. So they had like a phased sort of post quarantine um, uh, sort of plan. You know, where okay, first month after quarantine we do this. This is how strict it's going to be. Second month it's going to be this strict. Third month, this, and it will change depending on the province or the area. Some areas where there were still high cases, they were you know far more stricter, even after quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very because there's 1.3 billion people, so it's very difficult to control, tell everyone to do this. So you have to do it on a regional basis. So
But
uh,
it's worked really well.
yeah, I mean that's I think that's how they've controlled it. They've not really um, been lenient. Um, it was just always like if you don't have this QR code, you can't enter. You can't show it to us. Um,
What's the QR code system? Because you mentioned something about the was it the green, the orange, and the red per region?
not per region. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, now it's more like okay, if you have been to a high risk zone, I don't know what they would classify as high risk, but probably one with recent cases, then the app will, to use the app, you need to allow location services. So um,
Mm-hmm.
it will already in the background be kind of knowing where you're going, not like spying on you where your house is. I mean, you know, it's for your own safe, health and safety. So it will tell you, oh, you've been to Guangdong province, which I did. Because I've traveled a lot in China since I came, right? I've been to sort of 4 or 5 different provinces. And so it will know that, oh, when you go back to Shanghai, it will, when you try to exit Shanghai, you
Yeah.
show the app and it will tell you, oh, this province is in red because it's had a recent spike of cases.
Mm-hmm.
So then you may need to fill in a form, do extra, maybe do further
This
checks.
this
And
is, this is the whole track and trace, which
yeah.
doesn't seem to work here at the moment. I don't know if it's been working for other people, but in the UK, because we have that track and trace system, but it's not compulsory. I feel like it's not that you have to have this track and trace system, and if it was, maybe I would have treated it slightly different, because the places that I've been to here, um, I don't know, this QR code, you scan it, and I don't know, my phone doesn't want to scan it, or something goes wrong, or it says,
Mm.
it's not available. I would just click it off, and then someone might think I have it, have um, done the QR code, and the friend at the time, this is the time that we were allowed to have the Eat Out Help Out, which probably made things worse with the track and trace. So I don't know how much it's helped, but it seems like in China it's done a pretty good job.
Well, what you, yeah, I think it has, but I think there are people who are responsible for checking your QR codes. It's not like the shop owner checks your QR code.
Mm.
Who cares? It's not like
Mm-hmm.
the assistant, the manager of the restaurant checks the QR code. There's a security guard in front or a dedicated person. Normally it's a security guard because they have security guards all over the place in China, just for just general security, I guess. And they were given the responsibility to check everyone that's coming in now. So
So,
everyone had a
so,
role.
so is the security guard like over there? Are they checking that you have downloaded this app and you've done this? Is
Yeah. They just say scan this QR code using Alipay or WeChat, whichever one you want, because they both have different systems, so different tracking systems, but they're the same. And then you scan it, put in your mobile number. That's it. You
so
show it.
everyone seems to abide to it more than they do over here. Because you guys use WeChat and Alipay for a lot of things. Because we don't have separate apps like that here. Like for was it WeChat that you use everything for? Was it Alipay?
No, I use Alipay for most of my stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Because you also mentioned that, if I was to land there and I wanted to use my Visa card or my MasterCard, I wouldn't be able to use them,
That's
right?
right. Yes, most places here don't take Visa or Mastercard unless you're at like a foreign change, foreign store,
Mm,
or sort of foreign like branded place like
mm.
a Uniqlo, or if you were to go to, I don't know, Starbucks, they'd all accept it. But
Okay.
if you're sort of mainly Chinese brand or any local store, they wouldn't accept it.
Okay.
Um, but you can top up your Alipay account using your UK account,
Okay.
even if you don't have a Chinese citizenship. So this is one benefit that Alipay introduced, I think, a couple of years ago, maybe last year, where foreigners
Okay.
can come into the country. There is a limit on how much you can top up per 3 months,
Mm.
but it's good for a foreigner to be able to do that anyway. So yeah, they have a really good system and it's all in English.
Mhm.
It's Alipay for English speakers. So everything can be done on that, and it can get you through a lot of things. When you get your Chinese mobile phone, that's when you can unlock more features. For example, like ordering uh, a taxi. So the Alipay has Didi, which is the taxi service in China, basically the
Mhm.
Uber of China, incorporated in it. So within the Alipay app, you have many apps within it, and one of them is a
Mhm.
takeaway app. Another one is a taxi app, which is Didi. Another one is
Okay.
you pay your utilities. I pay my bill just by going onto the app and just paying the electricity
Mm.
per month. Another one is you can invest. You can plant a tree anywhere in China. To um,
All in this one app. Crazy.
all sorts of crazy. You can go on Taobao, which is the Amazon of China, and all this
Mhm.
stuff. So, yeah, that's everything is, but it's very much the culture here. Everything is on the mobile phone. Um, for example, our CEO does not even have a laptop. She watches all her movies on her phone. So, I have
That is
something that's
surprising.
unfathomable. I can't really imagine that. Like, sort of holding it there. But you see it, or you know, it's just
Yeah.
yeah. They watch a lot of stuff on their phone. They use their phone all the time. So phone, and there's charge, and so much so that there are charges everywhere. There's portable charges where, like,
Oh,
if you go to a shop, like a corner shop, they'll have these trays of different charges. What you do is you scan the QR code as with everything else in China, and then
yeah.
you take one of the charges out. You can take it home wherever you want, and then
Okay.
it will keep charging you for the duration of how long you've taken out the charger for. But then you can
Okay.
then put that charger into, like, 20 miles um, away from where you are, and put it back into another slot of the same brand and the same company, and then you stop your uh,
Oh, right.
duration of charge. It's kind of like borrowing a bike, right? Or like
But a charge.
one of the bikes, the Boris bikes.
Yeah. 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 That's
Um,
pretty cool.
so yeah,
Because here they have charging stations, but you have to put it in the locker with the charger and then you leave it there and you go around, you come back and you come back to the same spot. You're telling me that you don't have to come to the same spot. You can go somewhere else and you can put the charger back somewhere else.
yeah.
Oh,
Even in our clinic, we
that's
have one. Like, anyone who wants it, you just take it out, charge it, take it home with you, do whatever you want with it, but as long as you keep it.
what?
And then yeah, it's all tracked. Same as for e-bikes, they have not e-bikes, like more normal bikes. So there's lots of bikes here. So it's the same
Yeah.
sort of economy where you just scan the code, you can drive your bike right anywhere as long as you put it
Yeah.
back. You know,
Wow, that's a pretty good system.
responsible. Might get a lot of.
I can't say much for this country when it comes to responsible. You find a Boris bike. Is that what it's called now?
Yeah,
Somewhere in the Thames or it's
yeah,
dumped.
exactly.
But
Something over the cliff, but
yeah, that's if you can find one high enough. They'll do it. Anyway, yeah, so my journey actually begins hopefully now because all this time I haven't been able to see Expressless for 10.5 months and it's been quite grueling. So now hopefully we can get onto a flight and go to China, as in just me and my journey. But the flight that had been booked for 10th of January has been cancelled as of our lockdown, UK lockdown that Mr. Boris has set for us. So we're in the middle of trying to book another flight to see if we can get me over. And we'll keep you posted and updated with that. So anything else? I'm trying to think of your situation over there and your work, and because you have an apartment there, and how easy was it for you to get an apartment in the middle of a pandemic?
well, I mean, at the time, it wasn't really a pandemic. It wasn't like, and it wasn't a lockdown, basically. So everyone was wearing masks.
Mm.
The security guards were always checking QR codes and things like that. But it was quite difficult because getting an apartment here, um, a lot of the buildings in Shanghai are quite old, the apartment buildings, but the outside exteriors are quite old. So what people are doing is they are rebuilding or refurbishing the insides, but the outsides look terrible. Not everywhere, but like in most of the sort of suburbs. And so I couldn't handle it. I was like, Jesus Christ, really? Is it this bad? But then you go inside and it looks amazing, and you're like, well, it's almost like putting Band-Aid on a wound. Not really,
It's like the apartment now. I know that it looks quite pretty nice. It looks
yeah.
pretty cozy. But what does the outside look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's not atrocious. I've seen worse, but it's not like, you know, maybe I'll do a video or something of the horror complex and whatever, and you can get a feel. But this is very common. I spoke to many who've had the same situation. They're like, they
Mhm.
get shocked when they come here to us. And interestingly, like here, they don't use washing machines. They actually hang their clothes outside. Most people have balconies or.
You
Uh,
mean dryer? They have a washing machine, right?
no,
What?
they
You don't have
don't.
a wash? There's no washing machine?
No, they wash their clothes and dry outside.
What? You mean so you're washing your clothes by your hand right now?
No, no, I have a washing machine and a dryer built in.
Oh.
But most
Ah,
people,
okay.
if you were to look across my balcony, you see the other apartment, you see everyone hanging their clothes.
Yeah,
Um,
but then they might have a washing machine.
no,
How do you know they don't? You haven't peeked in their house.
no. I've been to apartments where they don't have washing machines, and it's normal. Like I viewed
And
apartments.
ovens.
I
You
viewed.
mentioned ovens. I remember when you were looking, and I was saying if I was going to join you, I'd want an oven, and then I
Yeah, well,
remember you
exactly.
mentioned.
An oven is another thing. They don't bake cakes and shit here. So really, that's another thing that is completely not normal here. So washing
Mm,
machines, ovens,
dry.
don't really use it. Dryers, I guess, yeah. Um, microwave, I guess.
I don't. To be honest, I don't even know what this house has. So it's got a washing machine and it's got a dryer.
Yeah, it's all built in.
Okay.
I mean, I had to request it. So my specs in terms of what I needed was quite high, but they're used to it because they know that expats demand these sort of things and it's normal for them. So
Mm,
places like mine, they're kind of built for expats because they know, okay, expats would expect a washing machine, they expect an oven,
mm,
and all this sort of stuff. So it's just knowing the right people,
interesting.
like which agency to contact that would cater for an expat. And Shanghai is quite easy because it's 200,000 people, expats here, the highest in Shanghai. Sorry, highest in China, and so it's easier. But I suspect if you were to go outside of China, you know, outside of Shanghai, it will be more difficult. So to find,
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm. When we were having our eat out to help out, I think this is like September, October time, and like our cases in the UK spiked, and I'm not sure if Boris knew how to handle it. And in the middle of that, I think my visa was approved and we could go. And we had another sort of mini lockdown. It wasn't really a lockdown. We were put into tiers. I think it was a tier three, maybe, and then like over Christmas or whatever, we were put into tier four, and now we're in lockdown. So during that period of time, I'm talking about September to Christmas. Like, how was the situation in Shanghai for you? Everything was fine. Like people were still wearing masks, and you can go outside, and it
Yeah,
was fine.
yeah, people were wearing masks all the time, but in the evenings it's a bit more relaxed. People, because there are less people on the street, so not as many people will be wearing masks in the evenings. But mornings, for sure, tube stations, you won't find one person not wearing a mask in the tube station since
Mm,
now, post lockdown. Because they know, like, it's, like, okay, you're in a bunch of people, you're crowded. Um,
mm,
uh, Obviously, when you're going to restaurants, no one's wearing masks because they're eating. But it's kind of like sensible stuff. Yeah,
mm.
um,
Culture differences, really.
yeah, there is a massive cultural difference because they used to wear masks previously for because of pollution. Because as China was developing the last 50 years, they had
Mm,
to, you know, particularly in the north where there's lots of industry, they had to kind of take care of their health in terms of pollution stuff. And also, there were some small outbreaks of certain viruses and things in the past.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but in the West, it's not very common. You don't really see people wear masks like before this
Mm.
pandemic, this COVID. So I
To,
think people are just getting used to it. Yeah.
it's like even here in the tubes beforehand, before this virus, there was a lot of Chinese nationals here that used to wear masks on the tube. And I think at the time for us, it would have been, oh, it looks kind of strange because they've got masks on. But really, because of the pollution, they would have been wearing the mask, which is the right thing to do. But now it's like everyone's wearing masks. There's no different. So what they were doing in the first place was the right thing to do, if that makes sense. We don't
Yeah.
ever think about it, how much pollution is in Central or
It's
anywhere else outside.
not to say that the masks will protect you against pollution. I think for me, like, uh, first of all, like in the UK or anywhere else in the world, if you had worn a mask,
Mm,
uh, then you might be seen as someone who has an infection or disease. Like, why is this guy wearing a mask? It's
mm.
something that So for me, it was more about that, and I think most people would say the same thing. The other thing is, um, in terms of pollution things, actually, yes, pollution is one. But now I'm thinking about it. Every winter, I probably want to wear a mask regardless if there was a pandemic or not, because
Mm,
I know that if I go on the tube, I touch the handrail, then I
mm.
touch my hair, then I go, oh, very tired day, and touch my mouth or
Yeah.
whatever. Then that's it, regardless of a pandemic, because it could be, even if it's a 20% chance of not catching the flu,
Mm.
I'll take it. I'll wear it if it was in a public place.
I'm
It's a
sure there will
barrier.
probably.
It's a barrier to from your hand, which is the most germs offered
It's,
one
but
way.
this is something you would have thought about after the pandemic, right? Like
Yes.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but not prior.
Yeah. But in
And
China,
I'm
I
sure.
think they wear it in China. I think they tend to wear masks in the winter quite frequently because of this.
Uh-huh. And they would have started after the SARS, was it? Was it
Uh,
SARS?
I don't know exactly when. The SARS actually started in Hong Kong or Guangzhou, which is the Guangzhou. Yeah. So in the south of China, right next to Hong Kong, in the sort of that region. But yes, I think it would have started, but I think it was there before because SARS was 2000, so maybe it was there before. I'm pretty sure it was there before. So, but yeah. Anyway, like I think masks, yeah, they're annoying, particularly if you've got a beard and you're itchy.
Or glasses. I don't wear glasses anymore, but people who have glasses, I know that they've mentioned that it kind of steams up
Yes,
when you put your mask on.
I've been there
You
as well.
sometimes wear glasses, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can, but what you have to do, the trick is to put it under your, the bit here. You have to put it under them. The mask has to go under there, and then that bit where it sticks here has to go sit firmly on top of the.
Some
You know
tips.
that?
I don't need to know. I don't. I used to wear glasses, and now I
Yeah,
don't.
I'm saying the person that you are asking about, but
Oh no, I was just saying generally, like people end up wearing
yeah, yeah,
a mask and it steams up.
yeah. So
Mm.
anyway, tips and tricks. But also another thing is these cotton masks are not good. Like even the ones that you have, I wouldn't recommend it. Get the proper ones.
Really?
Yeah, because you need the ones that
Oh,
actually have like medical grade if you can. Yeah, I mean that's just.
I made these. I'm happy to say. Anyway, so you say these are not good? My handmade mask.
No one wears those kind of masks in China.
Why? Who? What masks are you guys wearing? Where's your mask? I'd like to see your mask actually.
But I can't find it. It's the surgical ones, like the ones with the green, or it can be black, whatever color, but it needs to be one of those surgical masks where it's got that sort of filter system. It's like a three-layered. It's
You know
got
what?
it is.
You can put a filter system in here.
All right, let's see.
Look.
Where's your filter then? Nothing.
Well, okay, I need to put a filter in here, but there's a space. I stitched this enough so you can actually have a filter space in
And
here.
also, you should not be using it for too long because we have masks that are disposable. I normally throw my mask away after every sort of 3 to 5 days.
But what if I put this in the washing machine? Because obviously this is fabric. It goes in the washing machine.
I don't know. It's not what's recommended. I'm just saying because yeah.
I'm not sure I like hearing this.
Well, I mean, it's fine. You come here, you can buy it at the shop anytime. Like it's not like there's a scarcity of masks here. Trying to produce
No,
masks, so as
just how to make them.
yeah, they're nice. They can be on
Anyway,
sure, but
anyway, so to end this or to
yes,
wrap up, the next sort of journey is technically, hopefully, my journey getting into China. I will try and record my journey, and hopefully
yeah,
everyone can see what's been
yeah. You
going
can
on.
do
Because
a podcast. But mind you, I did come at a time where I had no idea about vlogging. I had a crappy iPhone, so if I wanted to, don't hit me.
I'm still gonna film on an iPhone though because I won't be able to carry much equipment. It's because I'm moving my whole life to China right now and I'm allowed one main luggage and I'm trying to get my computer over there as well. So trying to pack everything. I'm trying to think, can I take this? Can I take this? My whole wardrobe has been out. So
You know that when I
yeah.
came to China, I came with a hand luggage.
Yeah, you did because you were gonna go for 2 weeks and you came with a hand luggage and I've been left to deal with all your stuff.
You don't want to hear the domestic.
Hopefully, in the next couple of days or weeks, we can.
Here.
Hopefully not. I can get there, and we can just end all this rubbish about the pandemic. At least for us, anyway, because it's just been far too long. But yeah. Anyway, so hope to catch up soon.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe, guys.
Smash the like button, as they all say. Leave a comment. You know.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.